He's built a career playing characters that were terrifying, tragic, and impossible to pin down. My first exposure to Tom Noonan was on a battered VHS copy of Manhunter in the 80s. I found his performance mesmerising because it wasn't over the top. It was both terrifying and tragic at the same time. And that was it. I was a fan. Today we're going to cover his early life, breakout role, cult status, standout appearances, later roles in House of the Devil, etc., and why he stepped away from Hollywood, and a rare glimpse into his private life. Let's fade to black. Tom Noonan was born on April 12, 1951 in Greenwich, Connecticut. His father was a jazz musician turned dentist. His older brother, John Ford Noonan, was a successful playwright who would later win an Obie Award and earn a Pulitzer nomination. Tom was unusually tall, 6'6", and has said that growing up he felt socially disconnected. Not bullied, just different. Quiet, observant, and very withdrawn. He studied at Wesleyan University and eventually moved into acting. But instead of chasing Hollywood, he immersed himself in the New York theatre scene. There, he developed his unique stage presence, slow, deliberate, with an intensity that felt slightly out of sync with the world around him. He worked off-Broadway, both as an actor and writer, and later returned to teach and direct theatre, preferring it to the machinery of film. That theatrical discipline would follow him into every single role he played. In Michael Mann's Manhunter, Noonan played Francis Dollarhyde, a deeply broken serial killer known as the Tooth Fairy. The performance is terrifying because it's quiet, still, and very, very human. Noonan isolated himself from the cast during filming, especially from Joan Allen, to preserve the character's emotional detachment. He even sent her in-character notes, maintaining a cold distance throughout production. He doesn't shout, and he barely speaks, and that silence makes him feel very real. Manhunter didn't make much noise at the box office, but over time it earned cult status, and for many, Tom Noonan is the reason why. In the Monster Squad, Noonan donned full prosthetics to play Frankenstein's monster, and once again brought sadness and empathy to a role that could have been pure cliché. His performance is soft, kind, and childlike. It's especially moving in the scene with the little girl by the lake, a callback to Bride of Frankenstein. Even buried under latex, Noonan makes you feel something, and that's always been his superpower. Then came RoboCop 2, and Noonan's strangest big-budget role, the drug lord and cult leader Cain, who becomes the brain inside a monstrous new RoboCop prototype. The film is chaotic, but Noonan plays Cain with unsettling calm. He doesn't choose scenery, he plays it cold and collected, even spiritual, like a cybernetic messiah. Even after his body is gone, his presence lingers inside the machine. It's classic Noonan, understated but incredibly eerie. In the X-Files episode Paper Hearts, Noonan plays John Lee Roche, a serial killer who appears to Mulder in dreams, teasing that he may have been involved in his sister's disappearance. Noonan only appeared in one episode, but he made it count. He plays Roche like a manipulative teacher, soft-spoken, friendly, and deeply disturbing. He never yells, he just suggests and lets the horror creep in slowly. It's one of the most haunting episodes of the entire series. In Michael Mann's Heat, Noonan has a brief but memorable role as Kelso, the hacker who helps De Niro's crew plan the final score. It's a small scene, but it sticks. He's wheelchair-bound, twitchy, and incredibly cerebral, a man on the fringes. In a film packed with legends, Noonan carves out his own quiet space in this movie. In The Last Action Hero, Noonan plays the Ripper, a rain-slicked axe murderer pulled from a fictional world into real life. He barely speaks, but his look, slick raincoat, 1,000-yard stare is nightmare fuel. The role is brief, but unforgettable. Charlie Kaufman's surreal Synecdoche, New York is full of philosophical loops, and naturally, Noonan fits right in. He plays Sammy Barnathan, a man who's been watching the protagonist's life from the outside, only to eventually step in and play him. It's eerie and very dreamlike, and incredibly sad. And Noonan makes it work by doing what he always does, showing us a character who's already halfway vanished. In Ty West's House of the Devil, Noonan plays Mr. Ullman, the man who hires a babysitter for a night that spirals into dread. He's polite and courteous, incredibly calm, but from the second he opens the door, you know something is wrong, and that's what makes it brilliant. Noonan doesn't need to act scary, he just is scary. In Anomalisa, Noonan voices every supporting character, every man, woman, and child. It's a bizarre concept, but it works, because his voice is oddly soothing and slightly wrong. It gives the film an uncanny quality, one voice for everyone except the woman the protagonist falls for. And once again, Noonan's quiet presence shapes the entire tone. In 1994, Noonan wrote and directed What Happened Was, a quiet, uncomfortable two-hander about a man and a woman fumbling their way through a painful first date. What Happened wasn't just a critical success, it became a sort of underground template for low-budget, dialogue-driven indie films. Shot mostly in a single apartment, the tension comes not from violence, but from discomfort, from silence, from two people failing to connect. Noonan both starred in and directed it, and it remains one of the most painfully real date night films ever made. It won the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance, and proved he could do more than just haunt the screen. In New York, he worked at venues like Playwrights Horizons and the Public Theatre, often performing in or directing offbeat, emotionally intense plays. His own scripts were often about isolation, miscommunication, and human awkwardness, long before those became indie film staples. He said the stage allows for a kind of vulnerability that film doesn't always make room for. He didn't stop there. He continued writing and directing for theatre and indie film, often on his own terms. Tom Noonan was previously married to actress Karen Young, best known for Birdie, Sopranos, and Jaws: The Revenge. They later divorced, and Noonan has rarely spoken publicly about the relationship. He has 2 children, but has kept their lives entirely private. There are no interviews, no paparazzi moments, no press. He doesn't seek attention, and he's never been part of the celebrity machinery. Today he lives quietly, occasionally attending conventions or screenings, but more often working in theatre or writing in solitude.
System of, big action movies, which sort of, I think, ruin the business. Because the only movies now that people are interested in are big action movies that make $500 or $1 billion.
Yeah, I was going to say, has that affected you as an actor and how your career's been?
And I mean, even I had trouble competing 10 years ago. I can't. There's nothing I can do now. There's no market for that stuff.
Tom Noonan was never a household name, but every time he appeared on screen, something shifted. He made you uneasy, he made you feel something, and whether he was playing a monster, a killer, or just a quiet man with a strange smile, he always left an impression in every single movie he was ever in. Thanks for watching Fade to Black. Let us know your favourite Tom Noonan performance in the comments and who you'd like us to cover next. And as ever, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.